What's up, guys? Maverick here. Just wanted to bring you a quick hit video to talk a little bit about Season 4 of Call of Duty Warzone. We are officially in Season 4. Battle Pass looks pretty strong, a fair number of operators, and it looks like we're getting the Galil and the Vector back, of course, under different names. They're leaning in pretty heavily into the idea of blueprints, but they're also introducing in-game events where you can unlock blueprints. So they changed up the loot pool. The loot pool feels fresh. I think it was time for there to be a change. I enjoy the change that they made. And this just might be my experience so far. I've only got 5 or so matches in. But there seems to be a fair number of LMGs that have been brought back into circulation. So they might have to do some tweaking on that front. It's nice to see a good all-around weapon like the M13 back. So we've got a good solid silenced AR. Certainly much better than the AK. Saw a fair number of Rams, some Bison. I got one MP5. Not a lot of snipers, not a lot of RPGs. I do like this Bruin MK9. I think this will be a weapon that is especially silenced here with the green version that allows for some pretty unique gunplay. So it'll be fun to see how that plays out. I also noticed that a fair number of the weapons have 3x optics on it. So the builds are pretty unique. They don't seem really uniform. They don't seem like builds that are structured to be what you would see with a traditional operator. So it wasn't like you went back and built this. It was more like my 5-year-old son put something together and thought it looked cool. But it introduces some interesting gunplay. So all in all, loot pool feels really fresh, and I enjoy the changes that they made. In terms of in-game events, there are 3 in-game events now. There is the fire sale. With the fire sale, all buy stations go 80% off, and if you have a downed teammate, they can be revived for free. This is, I think, a really cool idea. In solos, the buy boxes get camped a little bit, but in squad-based games, they're creating, I think, a lot more longevity, and they're creating the ability for each match to feel very fresh and unique. One of the problems with some of the squad-based gameplay in Warzone, in my opinion up to this point, is that everything kind of felt pretty familiar and pretty similar each time that you dropped in. So this is a pretty unique way to change things up a little bit. Loadouts are not discounted, so if you're gonna rush to try and pick up your loadout, just know that it's not discounted. It's still gonna be the full price for you there. The second in-game event that they've got is a jailbreak. I didn't experience the jailbreak, but the idea is that if you're sitting in the gulag or you are a spectator in any format, you are released back into the map. Going to be pretty interesting for squad-based gameplay again, and knowing that you have a little bit of a lottery chance to get released. The last one is the supply chopper, which you see here. I think the supply chopper is the best in-game event that they've introduced. The supply chopper brings, it looks like 6 helicopters into the map that are rotating throughout the circle. They are completely defensive, so no offensive capabilities. They're not going to shoot back at you, but they're pretty tough. Think about taking down a Pavlo in Modern Warfare 2, and you'll understand that you got to do a little bit of damage to these. They are going to be a game changer in squad-based gameplay. When you take down one of these helicopters, which you'll see in a moment, it drops a single care package. I'll tell you, the care package takes forever to open. So I think there's probably some tweaking that needs to be done with that, especially in game modes with fewer people. So in solos it should be faster. I recognize that going up to quads it can take a little bit longer, but in solos it felt like it took way too long. But when you do get it open, it drops a metric ton of utility. So you're going to get cash, there's multiple armor boxes, there's UAVs, there's gas masks, there's armor satchels, and that's just to name a few of the items. My understanding of the loot pool for this is that those are the types of items that are guaranteed every single time, but you can find some more kill streaks, and you can get some more rare supply drops. If you're playing in solos, just know that these things are going to be rushed, and they're probably going to be rushed and camped. Camping is probably your best bet unless it falls on top of a building. for instance, right here, I'm going to get clipped, and we're going to have multiple people coming in to open this thing up. So just be very careful in solos with rushing to one of these items. Make sure that you're clearing, especially if it's in an open area. Here you'll get a good look at the loot pool. And like I said, there's a metric ton of stuff that gets dropped right there. So, on the whole, really, really solid introduction to the gameplay. I think it's really unique, and I'm a big fan of the decision to introduce this type of in-game event. And I think if they continue to do in-game events, it'll bring some pretty fresh experiences. The last change that I'm going to go over here is a new contract. This contract is pretty rare. If you get it, you get a blueprint when you complete it. It's the Contraband Contract. The idea is that you'll pick up a briefcase and you have to rush it over to a location where you call in a helicopter. You have to wait for the helicopter to lower a drop bag, and then you have to put the briefcase inside of the drop bag. So it is a more involved process than I think the contracts we're used to doing. It's well worth it, especially if you get an early game. You get $10,000 for, I think I got 11,200 because I had a contract, but you get a hefty amount of cash early game. So it's something that I definitely encourage going after. And for people that are collectors, the blueprint was pretty cool. I think it's an AX150 blueprint. You'll see it here in just a second. I like what they're doing with the game. The idea of unlocking blueprints is kind of like a challenge system. I think the mission element is going to keep Warzone, it's going to keep it fresh, and it's not going to feel as linear as it was becoming so far. Well, I think at this point through Season 3, everybody was kind of feeling like the guns are the same, the games play out almost the exact same every single time, unless I can't hear somebody because of the audio. So I like the changes that they've made. Battle Pass for Season 4 is a solid Battle Pass. You're going to unlock Captain Price. There's a pretty solid elimination with Captain Price, so be on the lookout for that. I won't ruin the surprise for you. But on the whole, really, really solid job so far. I'm happy with what they've done. I think if they just go back and tune the audio a little bit, then everybody's going to be really excited. And I hope that they continue to lean into the idea of making the update and changes and in-game events, because it's a pretty cool experience to have. So here's finishing the Contraband Contract. You got to call in the helicopter, and then you've got to wait for the helicopter. So this is a contract that if you hear somebody calling it in, you've got some time to get over there. So even if there's some distance, you can rush over to it. I mean, look how long this has taken in solos for this to even get to that point. I don't know if you can shoot down the helicopter, but that's for another day. So just wanted to give you guys an update on Season 4 so far. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and we are going to get back at it, and we'll have some more content coming your way. You guys take care.
Safe zone relocated. Keeping the wrong